Sometimes you spend hours making the image more contrasty, more colorful, more stylized or more cinematic. And then a few days later you look at it again and realize it looks fake, it looks digital, or it just doesn't feel like the moment you filmed. And I know this because I did it to hundreds, maybe even thousands of my clips. So in this video I want to show you 6 color grading mistakes that can make your footage look amateur, even if the original footage was actually good. And the last one is probably the most important, because it's the difference between making a nice looking shot and making a film that actually feels consistent. The first mistake is trying to create a look before the image is even balanced, and I think that this is one of the easiest mistakes to make, especially if you work with raw or log footage. You open the clip, it looks flat, maybe a bit grey, green or a bit yellow, and your first instinct is to make it look cinematic immediately. So you add contrast, you add saturation, you warm it up, you push the shadows, you try to create the final look. But the problem is that the whole image is still not in a clean place. So every creative decision that you make after this is sitting on a weak foundation. Whether you shoot raw, log or a normal camera profile, the image needs to be balanced before you start pushing it creatively. I'm not going to explain the whole workflow here because I already made a video about color grading BRAW in DaVinci Resolve. But the important idea is simple. Before you create the look, you need a clean starting point. For me, this usually means setting white balance and the general color bias of the image. And one of the simplest ways to do it is using offset and the scopes. I like to use vector scope. Not because scopes should replace your eyes, but because your eyes adapt extremely quickly. And if the image is not neutral from the beginning, every other decision becomes harder. I had a lot of shots where I thought, okay, I can't add more saturation, this is already too much. But the real issue wasn't the saturation. The issue was that the image wasn't balanced. So when I added saturation, the whole shot became too yellow, too green or just too weird. Once the image is more neutral, you can often add more life to the colors without the whole grade falling apart. So the first step is not to make the image look beautiful, it's to make it look clean and neutral. The second mistake is trying to fix a boring image with saturation, where the real problem is contrast. This happens all the time with flat footage. You look at an image and it feels lifeless, so you add saturations, you just want more colors. And technically, yeah, the colors become stronger. But the footage still doesn't feel cinematic. It just becomes a more colorful version of the same flat image. In most cases, contrast should come before saturation. Not crazy contrast and not crushing the shadows, not forcing every shot to have pure black and pure white, but building a proper tonal structure first. Because contrast gives the image shape. It separates the subject from the background. It gives depth. It makes the image feel more finished. And very often, once the contrast is right, the colors already start to feel richer without adding that much saturation. When you look for a long time at BRAW footage looking very flat, you start seeing colors even if the image is gray. So when you finally add a normal amount of contrast, it can feel too strong at first. But if you take a break, watch a finished video on YouTube or just come back to your footage after a few minutes, you often realize that actually this shot can take much more contrast. I had many clips where I probably kept the image too soft because I was afraid of pushing it too far. But at the same time, it does not mean that every shot should be stretched across the full dynamic range. Sometimes a lower contrast image is exactly what the scene needs. So the point is not to always add more contrast, it's just to not use saturation to solve the contrast problem. First balance the image, then work with contrast, and only then start to think about adding saturation. The third mistake is treating saturation like one global decision. A lot of beginner color grades work like this. The image looks flat, so you add saturation. Then the greens become too strong, so you lower the saturation. And you end up stuck between two bad versions. One is too saturated and the other is too lifeless. The problem is that not every color in the scene needs the same treatment, and it's especially obvious with nature footage. Greens can become aggressive very quickly, so sometimes instead of lowering the global saturation, it's better to control one specific color. For example, if the green is too loud, I can reduce only the green saturation a little bit. This is one of those small decisions that can make the whole grade much more natural. The same thing can happen with the sky. Sometimes the blue becomes too cyan, too saturated, or just too dark. And again, the fix is not always to reduce saturation globally. So instead of thinking more saturation or less saturation, think about which color needs more control. This is usually when your grades start to feel much more intentional. But once the colors are controlled, there is another trap, and that is trying to create the whole mood with one very simple slider. The fourth mistake is using temperature as main tool for mood, and this is very tempting. You want the scene to feel warmer, maybe more cinematic, maybe more like sunset, so you increase the temperature. And yeah, the image becomes warmer, but very often it also becomes less believable, because temperature shifts the whole image in the same direction, and instead of feeling like real warm light, it starts looking like a yellow filter. A more natural way to create mood is often to separate the image. For example, maybe the midtones go slightly warmer, because that's where a lot of subject and the environment sits. And this is where I think a lot of beginner grades start to feel artificial. They are trying to create mood, but they are doing it by tinting the whole image. And that can work sometimes, but very often it feels too simple. For this kind of final film feel, I often use the enhancer, mostly for realistic film grain and subtle film emulation as a finishing layer. It also has a free trial, and if you want to test it, you can use my code SHOT10. But the important point here is not the plugin. The important point is that the mood should not come from warming up the entire image. The fifth mistake is not only about color, but it can completely ruin a color grade, and it's overprocessing your image with sharpness and midtone detail. This is one of those things that feel good while you're doing it. You add a little bit of sharpness and the image instantly looks more detailed, so you add a bit more, and on your monitor it starts looking punchy and high quality, but when you step back, it doesn't look cinematic anymore. This is especially dangerous with nature footage, because there are so many tiny details. And if your footage already has noise, compression artifacts or fine texture, sharpening can make all of those problems much more visible. I made a separate video about sharpening because there is a cleaner way to do it that most people don't know about. But even with the better method, the most important thing is restraint. If the viewer notices the sharpening, you probably went too far. And the same applies to midtone detail. This tool can be useful, but if every shot becomes crunchy and hyper-detailed, the footage starts losing its natural, organic feel. Sometimes the most cinematic grade is not the one with the most details, but the one that still feels alive. But even if you balance the image, control the colors, create a nice mood and avoid overprocessing, there is still one mistake that can make the whole film feel amateur. The last mistake is grading your shots one by one instead of thinking about whole sequence. Because color grading is not about making one frame beautiful. That works in photography. It's about making the shots feel like they belong in the same world. If one shot is warm, the next one is cold, one is very contrasty and another one is very flat, one has very saturated green and other one feels almost desaturated, the viewer may not exactly know what is wrong, but they will feel that something doesn't match. And this is why shot matching is one of the most important parts of color grading. Sometimes you have to make one shot less dramatic because it needs to fit the scene. Sometimes you have to lower contrast because the whole sequence should feel calm and natural. And sometimes the best grade for one shot is not the most impressive version of that shot. It's the version that looks the best with the shot before and after it. This is a very important mindset shift, because a lot of beginners think if this shot is good enough. A shot can look amazing as a still frame and still feel wrong inside the film. So when you grade, don't only look at one clip. Check the whole sequence, see the cut before and after, and see if it works together perfectly. That's what makes the footage feel less amateur, and the funny thing is that it's not about using more tools, it's about making better decisions in the right order. If you want to improve your footage beyond color grading, watch this video next. I break down 5 filmmaking mistakes that can make your footage look cheap, and it connects really well with this one because color grading is only part of your footage. Thanks for watching, and remember, let your films be shot by reality.